the Junior League is a training organization, we thought we would focus a few of our upcoming trainings on some of the things that we're all dealing with day in and day out in this new virtual world. Tonight, we are beginning with PowerPoint 101-ish, which will provide the basics of how to put together a simple PowerPoint presentation and some of the shortcuts that you can use. Our training is being presented by Lauren Groh, who is currently a member of the Executive Committee and Treasurer of the Junior Leagues of New Jersey. Prior to that, she spent 4 years on the Board of Directors of the Junior League of Greater Princeton as President, President-elect, and 2 terms as Community VP. And she was also the team lead for the JLGP's governance transformation process. Since joining the Junior League in 2009, Lauren has focused her efforts towards aiding underserved women and children in the Mercer and Bucks County areas and has provided countless hours and training and mentoring, both within and outside the league. Lauren also has a passion for technology, which is why we've tapped her for tonight's training. She spent 13 years in the financial software industry and has worked in various capacities, including quality assurance, project management, and software design. She has a BA in finance with a minor in economics from the College of New Jersey. And now, without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Lauren. And to do that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and make her the host. So, Lauren, you should now be the host.
Got it. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Everyone just mute yourselves if you haven't already.
Okay. I'm going to get my screen up. Thank you for the intro. I'm Lauren Groh. As Britt mentioned, I'm the treasurer of the Junior Leagues of New Jersey, and that's how this actually came into us through the Get On Board email account. And JLBC was looking for someone to train on PowerPoint. And I was like, why am I going to give you someone expensive when you can have me for free? So here I am, and I thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to provide you with some common skills that you may need to use when developing your presentation. As was mentioned, I've been a part of the Junior League since 2009, so I've had the opportunity of doing many different PowerPoint presentations and collaborating with within the league and outside the league. And here, there are going to be some tips and tricks that may help you out when you're doing that. But before we get started, I would love to hear from you. If you could just jump in the chat real quick and let me know, what do you use PowerPoint for? Work, Junior League, or other? And what's your level of comfort on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being very comfortable, 1 being uncomfortable. Ashley, I love it. 11. You could be my helper. Okay. I'm in a relationship with PowerPoint. It's very funny, Ashley. I love it. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so we have some experts, hold your comments, and we have some newbies. It seems like there's a lot of, we're on both ends of the spectrum. All right, so let me close this out and let's get started. Okay, so today we're gonna learn how to use templates, how to make global changes using the Slide Master, loading special fonts, inserting a video, inserting a PDF or other object, and adding transitions and animations. Okay, so a template. So from the basic standpoint, a template is just going to be a format that gives you a look and feel of your entire presentation. A lot of companies and organizations have their own standard templates. As a matter of fact, AJLI has a template out there that we can all use, and it looks just like the one that I have up. Traditionally, it has the JL logo on the bottom with your league name, and then to the right, it has the junior leagues of, and then your website. Templates have the extension POTX, so that's how you know when you come across a file with POTX, you know it's a template, a PowerPoint template. On the screen, you could see this is where you should save your templates in custom office templates. And I've also included, when you get this deck, I'll send it to Britt. There's a link for AJLI's PowerPoint template. So I'll just show you, I don't know if you guys all use the resources on AJLI's website. It's really great, but I will show you right here. This is the PowerPoint template. You can launch it and download them, and then you can use them. So hold on, let me get back to my presentation. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to use a template. So the easiest way and the best way is to start from a fresh slide deck from scratch using a template. So I'm actually going to escape here and show you in person how to do this. So you are going to go to File, New, and then here you'll see all of the templates. So these are standard templates that PowerPoint offers you. So if you're doing something very casual, you could just pick something that you like. But if you need to use your organization or works template, and if you saved it where I told you where to save it, this is where it will show up. So as you can see, you would just click on it and click Create. And that's now every slide after this will use this standard format, the formats that are in your layout up here. Okay. Okay, so let's say you've already started your presentation and you just picked a blank one and you're like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot. I didn't use the Junior League, template, or I didn't use my works template. What do you do? So all you have to do, it's very, very simple, is you need to open your presentation that you did, or any, let's see, I'm gonna pick this Girl Scout one. Here it's all green and white. You would select the slides on the left. So to select the slides, you would click Control, and you just pick the slides you want to format. You click Copy, and you go to your template, and you go to this panel on the left and click Paste. But you're going to select Use Destination Theme. That will get everything pretty close to the theme of your presentation. But there are ways that you can make it even better. Okay, so now what do you do when you have two different templates, two different slide decks? They look completely different. Like I said before, you're going to open up the presentations. You're going to select the slide from the other deck, merge it with the one, like the AJLI template or the one that you're working with, click Copy, and use Destination Theme. Uh-oh, it didn't quite go over as expected. So as you can see here, this doesn't quite look, this is a title slide. This is the title slide I really want it to look like. How can you fix it? You click on this slide and you go to Layouts, which is right here. And you see how this top section says Title Card? And now it looks like the Junior League template. You could see that I'll reverse that. See how we were missing the Junior League on the bottom? We were missing that it was completely black with white writing. But now it'll just reformat it. and then you can add whatever you need to add or to fix it up. So that's one real easy way to reformat your slides, is by using a template, because you won't have to go in and recolor everything and reformat the fonts. Which kind of brings me to the next segment, which is, hold on a second. How to make global changes. So you're sitting here with 50 different slides, and they don't all quite look alike. And using Slide Master is an easy way to format all of your slides. So you can change the font, the color of the font, the background, even the slide size and the footer. So a lot of people get caught up, I'll show you, in even just using the footer of the slide. So here, when you are in this view, which is normal view, and you try to click on the Junior League on the bottom, or you try to click on AJLI, you can't, because it's in the Slide Master and it's set in your slides. So in order to change that, what you do is you go to View and you go to Slide Master. You click on the layout that you want to change. So here, and what you would do here you would update this to say not just the Junior League, but you would drop in the Junior League of Bergen County in here. And then, oh, my controls are blocking me, so I can't really even see. Sorry. And then also, I just need to move, sorry, I need to move my controls. They are in the way. Okay. And on the right-hand side, you can update, this says www.ajli.org. You would then update that to the JLB. I think that's your email, right? The JLBC, right? So right here, you can delete this. And now that will change on every slide that uses this single slide header format. Another really cool thing with slideshow, with Slide Master, is that you can create your own slide layout. All right, so, and I'll show you how to do that too. It's so quiet with everyone on mute. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. So let me get to this other piece of the presentation. All right. So when you are in Slide Master, for example, do we have any finance people on here? Sometimes finance people, I'm a finance person. Sometimes finance people need to have things done differently than the regular world. Like we like charts and numbers and stuff like that. So if you wanted, say, for example, all of your finance slides to look the same, you can create your own layout. So what you would do is insert layout, which would be here. And these dotted line boxes are called placeholders. So if you wanted to create your own format for your finance slides, for example, we'll say, I will need some text. So I'm going to insert a text placeholder here. And then I would like to also add a chart. So you would put a chart here. And now what you can do is every time you want to create this finance slide, I'm going to go back to Slide Master and close it. When I go to new slide, I can click this custom layout that I just created. And now every slide after this, when I use that layout, will be exactly the same. It'll be formatted the same. What I like about this and what makes, now you could just do your finance slide and copy it and then delete what you have and put new information in, and you could keep doing that. However, if you have a global change that will affect every slide and you don't necessarily have a layout, you're going to have to go in and fix every single slide. With using layouts, you can just go back to the slide master layout and say, okay, now I want to make the title green or red. And once you format it on the slide master, then all of the slides that use that layout will be updated. So I think that was a really, that's a really helpful piece of information and tip. Okay. So the next section is actually about using special fonts. I'm not sure if you know, but AJLI actually has its own font, and it's called FFDIN. Well, that's the short name for it. Fonts are located in Windows Fonts. You can actually go online, download the AJLI's fonts, and put them in the Windows Fonts folder, and then you can use it in your PowerPoint presentations, Word documents, anywhere where you have fonts in Windows products. The closest font to FFDIN is Arial. So you can use that instead if you don't feel like downloading all the fonts, but it's also fun to use like exactly what AJLI uses. I love it. And if you use the FFDIN font and the person you're giving your presentation to doesn't have it, the program will just convert the font over to the closest one, and I'm pretty sure that it does pick Arial. Another point about AJLI, I like AJLI, and I like that they have brand standards, just like any organization would. AJLI has a brand standard document that I basically use. It's like my brand standard Bible. It's in the Resource Center. I highly recommend using it because it gives you the specific colors you should be using, the gradients, the fonts, and other tips about what all of our media should be looking like. And it's really good when we go from league to league, like someone like Jamie who's transferred. If we're all using the same template, Jamie doesn't see any difference between Junior League of Bergen County, or if she comes down to Greater Princeton, or when she was in Cincinnati. Everything's exactly the same, and that's kind of like what we want to promote, is that we all have like a very similar look and feel, even though we do some different things across leagues. Our media presence and all of our assets should be looking the same. Okay. So this is fun. How to insert a video. I always find that videos break up the presentation, adds a little bit more interest. You can always find something relevant to put into your presentation. This is fairly simple as well. So I will show you how to do that in 1 second. Okay. So we are going to insert, and then over to the right, I'm going to move my controls again because I don't know if that's blocking. There's video. And so you have two options. You can select an online video, or you can select a video that's on your PC. I do want to caution you, when you add videos that are on your PC, they embed it into the presentation, and it does cause your presentation to get quite large. There are ways to compress, which will work. Another trick really is to insert a link to an online video, and that won't increase your file size as much. And it's always accessible no matter who has it. So when you insert a video that's linked to your computer, you have to make sure that when you send someone the presentation, you're also sending them the video so that it can be placed in the same folder and that it can be accessed together. So that is one thing that we've run into at GMMs, where the outside organization will come in, they'll give us their memory stick, we put it in, we have their presentation, it's great, but the video is still residing on their PC and we don't have a copy, so then we end up not being able to play it. So I'll just, I'll put an online video in. So I'm going to do an AGLI video. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is that when I like doing videos, I like to make the background black, so it's less distracting. And then you also want to use just like as full of a screen as you can. And if you're going through Zoom, you want to make sure you click on More and Share Computer Sound, so you will be able to hear the video. So we will go into presentation mode, and then you can see how that looks nice and clean. And then we hit play. All right. There are a few other things that you can do with this. So with your video on the top, if you see there's, when you're clicking on it in normal view, there's format and there's playback. Under playback, you can actually start the video when you progress to this slide. So when you go from the slide before to this slide, it'll play automatically. That would be here. So you can start automatically or you can start on the click. I actually thought that was a good thing, because I'm usually trying to go on here and clicking, and sometimes it's delayed. So I really like that option. All right. And then get back to the presentation. So very similarly, the next section is about how to insert an object. So you can insert an object like a PDF, Word doc, Excel file very easily by going to Insert Object. And there are two things you can do with inserting objects. You can embed them directly, or you can insert a link. So what's the difference? So if you embed the object, it's part of the presentation and it does not change. It's kind of like your final. But if you link the object, it'll update when your file changes. I find this to be helpful. Maybe you're working on the presentation, but you're not quite done with your numbers in your Excel file. And then you don't want to have to worry about, I took this pie chart from my Excel file, I dumped it in my presentation, but now I changed my numbers and then I got to copy it over again. It kind of gives you a little bit of peace of mind when it's linked. So if there's something you know you're going to constantly be updating, I think linking is a really great way to go. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so first embedding, I chose to embed a PDF. This is what it'll look like. It'll kind of show like the first page. So what you would do is you go to Insert. I'm going to show you how to do it live. So you go to Insert and Object. Then you go Create from File, and then you select your file, and then you click OK. That's how you embed it. But then how you link a PDF, very same thing. Insert Object, Create from File. You browse for it. I'll just go to mine. and you click OK, you have to remember, oops, where is this? There we go. You check the link box here to link it, and then you have the option to display it as an icon. So if it's a PDF, you'll just get the Adobe Acrobat sign, or if you leave that unchecked, it'll be the first page of your document. So here on the right, this is just the icon. Now you can click this when you're in normal view. We are in normal view right now, but this is not what you're usually in when you're giving a presentation. So if I click on this, now my PDF opens up. So you can see the difference. Let's just look here. This is that same document, but so much easier to read than when we're on this page, right? I mean, look at how small that is. Who can see that? You know, I have really good eyesight, but that's just really tough. So that's why linking is really great, because you can open it up. But I'm going to put us in, this is in presentation mode. If you go here, you can't click on it. So, and as a matter of fact, when I try to click on it, it just advances my slide. So how do you open the object during your slideshow? Well, what you need to do is add an action to it. So when you go to, so you're still on the insert screen, you select your icon right here. So it's highlighted, and you click on action. So this action box will come up. And down here, it says object action. So what do you want it to do? You want it to open. So you have this selected and you click OK. This way, now when you're in presentation mode and you're talking to people and you're like, hey, I really want to show you these core competencies. See how it's an arrow now, and now it's a pointer finger. You can actually click on the document, and you can't see it, but it actually opened up again here. Now you can see it. And you can have the document pop right up. When you're in presentation mode, you do just have to toggle between your screens, but it will open up on its own. I didn't just have it magically sitting in the background, because you could take people out that way too.
Lauren, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
If you do the link the way you just did, which looks great, would you have to keep it on your desktop, like the example you gave about putting it on a, thumb drive, how it wouldn't be linked because it wouldn't link back to anything?
Yeah, so I would suggest keeping it in the same folder, so that if you are to give your presentation to somebody else, that it goes with it. Because yeah, I think because it's a link, it's not going to be able to find it if you give it without the file. Go ahead.
Second question, I looked away for a second and I missed how you got it to the action phase. Did you right click?
Sure. No, in the insert, in the ribbon up top under insert, it's next to hyperlink, and you can click it there. And you can do a lot of other things. That would be like a whole nother class, but you can, run programs and play sounds, and you could do a lot of other things with actions, but this is just one of the things that you can do with action.
Awesome. We'll wait for PowerPoint 201-ish.
201, right. I thought this one was a little bit more advanced, that's why I called it 101-ish. So some of this stuff is basic, and then there are little things that are little secrets. So thank you so much, Casey. Okay. So this final piece, we're talking about transitions and animations. And I think this is the most fun part of your presentation. So once you've gone through all of the hard work of putting your presentation together, getting it looking just right, you can add a lot of interest to your presentation just with transitions and animations. So a transition is how your slide moves from one to the next. So what I've been using this whole time is a push up. But I added an interesting one that was like a crash or something like that. So how you do this, you can do this for each slide if you want, or groups of slides. So I'm going to go back to my normal view. You would click on the slide on the left and go to the transition tab. And then you can select which transition you want. And they have pretty helpful pictures of what it might look like. But if you want to test it out, you can just, for example, I can click on dissolve and it gives you a preview of what dissolve might look like versus what checkerboard might look like. So I would say I would keep transitions kind of to a minimum. You don't want to have everything flying all over the place. It's a little distracting, but there are certain times where a transition might be really appropriate or kind of emphasize the message that you're about to give. So for example, when we have, when we're announcing the board, the slate for the board, sometimes we do something a little bit different where we have it pop up differently. So it just adds a little zhuzh to your presentation. Okay. So that stayed as the checkerboard. That's a falling one. I actually like the falling one. I thought it was really cool. And this is just the regular swipe. The other piece is animation. So animation is the movement within your slide. So that would be like, you can make bullet points show up one at a time and in different ways like this. So the way you do that is similar to transitions. Animations has its own tab here, and you would highlight something. So if you want these all to come up at the same time, you would highlight all of them and then just say what you wanted to do. Float in, fly in, appear, grow and turn. Or if you want your bullet points to come up one by one, you would highlight each line and then you would assign it an animation. And you pretty much want to have your bullet points come up in the same way. I like float in because it's nice and gentle. And then you'll see on the left-hand side the numbers. So these numbers come up as you assign each bullet point its animation. So this is going to come up first, second, and third. Typically, when you're going through, like these are instructions, I would want it bulleted and in that order. But there might be a reason why you might want something to come up and come from the bottom up. For example, what are the top 10 reasons to join the JLBC, right? Number 10, and then you have it appear at the bottom. So in order to change the order, you can click on the number here, and in the right, there's reorder animation. So you could just say, move it earlier or later. So I'm gonna have this set up as 3, 2, and 1. So if we go back to presentation mode, I gotta move my little gallery box all around because it blocks me. So then it did the third bullet, the second bullet, and the first bullet. So in this case, doesn't make sense, but there may be a situation that you might want something to show up that way. And both on the transitions and the animation tabs, you will see on the right, has some more advanced features where you can have things start on your click. I like to have my bullet points show up as I click versus timed because I ad lib a lot, so I don't have an exact timed presentation, but some people do have very exactly timed presentations where you can time each of your things to show up, you know, after 30 seconds or 10 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever it is. You could do that on the right-hand side. And with transitions, you can do some effects upon click and things like that too. So there's some advanced features on those sides as well. And oops, I'm gonna move you all over again. Okay. And that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions? I know it was a lot. That's why I wrote out the different instructions on the slide so that if you, when you get this later, if you wanted to refer back to it, you have the steps. But if you have any questions that are like what I've covered, or maybe you have a separate question, you're welcome to stay on and we can chat, and just let me know.
Lauren, I've got a question on formatting. So
Sure.
I know, and this has tripped me up before, where like my format, so I know there's two different sizes of PowerPoint presentations. There's like a widescreen and a regular.
Yep.
Where I've done them, and then all of a sudden I've gotten in a space and I need like the widescreen. Is there a way to convert the whole presentation to the other format? Because when I've done it, I end up with like the cutoff on the side. So I was curious if there was a way to fix that in a quick situation.
So in Slide Master, there is a slide size option here that you could see, the 4:3, which the 4:3 ratio, which is more square versus the widescreen.
Yeah.
You would have to do it by layout. So you can select like all the, you can change this, say for example, to standard, and then it'll tell you whether, so I think what you're seeing is that when you change the slide size, that it's cutting off your sides. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's not actually me. It's one of the members on my team. She's kind of a queen of doing it. And then we get into a presentation space and it's totally differently, like it's a completely different format that we need. So I just didn't know if there was a way that we could correct it quickly when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, you could, I think you can go into the Slide Master, and then you can, if it was a widescreen and you want to size it to the one that's more square, you would just say ensure fit, so it'll squish it down instead of just cutting off your sides.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
So, and so that's maximize versus ensure fit.
Okay, cool. No, thank you for that, because it's tripped us up a couple times, and I just wanted, because like, you know, every time you go to a space, you don't know what your screen's going to be, so it's kind of nice to.
That's very true.
Because I mean, it's a little easier now with everything being virtual, but when I'm like in 3-dimensional presentations, I can go into a room and have a completely different slide wall.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's where I would try doing it. Trying to think. I don't know if there is another way to just do it in normal view, but I would say, where's my buddy? Is it Ashley? Maybe she's not here.
I'm here. I just finished my glass of wine. Can I help you?
Oh, that's okay. Enjoy. Ashley, aside from Slide Master, is there another place where you can change the size of the slides, or you would just do it in Slide Master also?
Slide Master, but then I also, what you talk about is, you want to talk about grids and like aligning things. That's always my favorite topic, because I can always pinpoint when someone doesn't align their slides properly. It's like a neat, you know, one of those things.
Yeah. Oh, and also, Rachel, you can customize your slide size too. So if it's something really oddball, that's another way you can do it if it doesn't fit standard. But nowadays, I mean, if you're doing things virtually, you're probably going to just go with widescreen, because everyone's computer monitors and TVs are all kind of.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've just had instances where we've had presentations built, and then we go into like a presentation space, like it'll be like whatever room they put us in, and it's like, oh, okay, so that's completely different. Great.
Right. Yeah, I know. It makes you sweat a little bit.
Yeah. That's when they get very specific on research questions, and I'm just like, crap, I'm out of my depth here.
Yeah. Did anyone else have any other questions? Okay.